Hello, welcome to Cutting to the Ball in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben. As always, I'm hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
And Pete. Eric Duck. Yeah, today we are going to carry on a continualisation of the David Grusch, because we did the interview, we did our episode on him, and then he came out and did an interview on, what was
News
it?
Nation.
News Nation. The 40 minutes that us in the UK are allowed to watch. We're not allowed to watch it from their website.
Aren't we?
No, EU laws.
Or YouTube.
European law, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an abridged version.
Was it like because of misinformation and stuff? They're sort of dubbing it as.
I think it might be more to do with just broadcasting rights.
Right. Okay.
I don't know.
But yeah, so we did it off the back of that interview with Debrief, didn't we?
We did.
And then obviously a few days later, after we put the episode out, obviously because things are obviously constantly changing, he did an interview. We came out with even more revelations.
And we thought we'd better come back and have a bit of a chat about it.
And we've had a letter as well as...
A letter from the Canadians.
Yeah, it's turned up, so... A lot to talk about.
I'm sure you can trust a Canadian.
Oh, they're well trustworthy Canadians.
Before we get into it, I'll just go through some new and returning listeners. Shong Dong-gu in the Republic of Korea.
Welcome back.
Hello again.
Toulouse in France.
Bonjour.
Minsk in Belarus. Porto in Portugal.
So if you do Belarusian then.
Alright.
Saint-Cyrin-sur-l'Île in France.
Bonjour. I can do that one.
Riverside, California. Telford, UK, our hometown. Belsize Park in the United Kingdom. Panorama City in California. Tamworth in the UK, Dublin, Ireland. Bengaluru, India. Herne Bay, I haven't seen Herne Bay before.
Telford again as well.
Oh, I was in there twice. Frankfurt am Main in Germany. Guadalajara, Spain. Ashburn, Virginia. And top of the list this week is Saskatoon in Canada.
Thank you very much, Canada.
Follow us on Facebook, Cutting to the Ball in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. YouTube is Apocalypse Ball, and SoundCloud is Cutting to the Ball in the PTA, and that's most other podcasting platforms too. So according to this interview, we have the possibility, according to David Grusch, that aliens have acted malevolently during contact with humans. And that we don't just have craft, we also have the bodies. Where are the bodies?
That's the main thing, isn't it? He didn't say that in the Debrief interview.
He didn't say it in the debrief interview,
Well,
no, he didn't.
he hinted of it, didn't he? He did hint that there was potentially bodies.
Did he hint on it, did he?
Yeah, in that first lot that we did.
Either him or one of the other chaps that came out with him, anyway.
Potentially. It was certainly within the last articles that we'd gone through.
Well, I watched an interview with the actual journalists that worked with him, and they weren't prepared to say about the dead pilots. He said, Grusch never told us that.
Interesting. So his story's changed already?
Yeah, so this is new revelations.
Okay.
So Grusch claimed the government is in possession of UFO crafts and has found the bodies of dead pilots. I mean, to be fair, multiple former officials have backed up his claims, as we saw last week.
Yeah.
You know, the Secretary General of the Attorney General, Secretary General of the Intelligence Services is coming out to bat for him. To be fair, the Department of Defence, DOD, have sanctioned this. They've said he can say this, which I find strange. Does kind of add credence to the fact it might be a psyop.
Yeah.
It may not. Maybe it's like, oh, you know what, they're going to find out sooner or later.
Maybe it is what I've been saying. Slow.
The drip feed.
Slow disclosure.
Yeah, just dripping it.
Well, aren't they backing it up then? If they're willing to.
Well, some are and some aren't. This is the thing, isn't it?
Well, if they're willing to come out and say, you know, a fish on the record, why aren't they, you know, digging through the files and, you know?
Yes.
Fuck the soft disclosure now.
Soft
It's
disclosure,
been you know, it's just drawn out too long now. It's, you know, let's
We
have
want
it.
to see the bodies, don't
Let's
we?
have it.
Show me the bodies.
To people with open minds like ourselves, yeah. But you got to remember, there's a large majority of the population that it would completely blow their fucking mind. Any religious person, essentially, Because they can't be believing in things.
Well, apparently the Pope knows.
Well,
allegedly.
Yeah, the year 1933 crash in Italy.
Because obviously the Pope knows the truth about religion as well. Clearly.
Do you think they tell you that when you get the hat?
What, the truth about religion?
Yeah.
Or
It's all bullshit.
It's like
It's
you've been a cardinal for years. You've been believing. You've been praying, and then like they
now
go
you're
right
at the top.
You're
Might
the,
as well know.
you're the next pope. Here's your hat. Here's your Pope-mobile. By the way, it's all a con. Don't tell anyone.
It's, by the way, we don't worship God, we worship Satan. Or certainly some other deity. Perhaps Molech, something like that.
Molech. How did I hear the other day? It's not. It shouldn't be
Lilith
Amen
even.
at the end of the prayer. It should be Arum, who's an Egyptian god. Who's become corrupted over the years because he says, "I'm a vengeful God. Don't worship anyone but me." And Arum was a bit of a twat. Interesting aside. He says, but then again, Pete, the Vatican actively looks for extraterrestrials.
Yep.
Probably because of that crash.
On their telescope named Lucifer.
Yeah, they've got a telescope named Lucifer.
This is the contradicting thing, though, isn't it? Because they're taught that God made the world. You know what I mean? I don't know.
They've
Just to
changed
feed us
that now.
peasants, isn't it? That's, you know.
It has changed over the past. Well,
Before it was just God made the heavens and the earth, and now it's like, oh, well, clearly he made the
everything.
universe.
Yeah.
Clearly there might be other life in them. Maybe we're not his favourite people after all.
but for not so many years ago, religious people would have been like, no, there's no such thing as alien. We're the only, because we're the ribs of God and whatever it is that he made
Adam
and Eve out of.
Well, either way, they're on side of it now. They're on board. Oh, they know there's aliens there. The crash in 33.
So what are the intentions of these alleged crafts and pilots? That's the big question, isn't it?
It is, because, I mean, is it going to be an alien war, or is it going to be peace, love and happiness?
Maybe just a bit of reconnaissance.
No, but what are they reconnaissing us? What are they wrecking us for? Invasion?
Yeah,
Friendship?
Claire's right. He's saying that they've got malevolent desires.
Some of them.
Which means what in plain English?
They don't like us.
Well,
They want to do something bad to us.
Yeah.
Enslave in the gold mines.
But it's a very broad.
I know,
word,
yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
malevolent.
That's what
Malevolent encounters is a bit broad, isn't it?
Isn't
To be
it?
fair.
That's what I mean. There's no real meaning
That
to
could be
that.
like-
Well,
Yeah.
there's no denying what it means. It means bad, doesn't it?
Well, we could have met them, and one of them tripped somebody else up, and that, you know.
Oh, so like the aliens have met the humans, and like a guy trips over the alien's foot, he falls over and grazes his knee,
Yeah.
or his elbow, and it's like, oh, you malevolent bastard.
Yeah.
Now they've been shooting down and killing pilots and things. I think that's what he's
He
alluding
can't.
to.
What Grusch says, and I'll quote him during the interview with News Nation. He couldn't get into specifics, but he's been told there have been malevolent encounters. Quote: while I can't get into the specifics because that would reveal certain US classified operations, I was briefed by a few members on the programme there were malevolent events like that. Grusch said when asked point blank by News Nation's Ross Coulthard if humans had been hurt or killed by non-human intelligence.
We could be misstruing that. It could be an accident. But it sounds like...
In the interview, Grusch seemed to think we had a way of bringing them down. Some were crashed, some were landed, is what he says about the craft. And that comes into... If you go back to Roswell in 47, White Sands wasn't just a missile test, it was also had extremely powerful radar waves. A radar station. There is a theory that a directed pulse of radar beams fucks up their propulsion.
Yeah. Almost like an EMP.
Yeah, fucks their propulsion up.
But they're that advanced that they can't deal with radar beams. I mean...
Maybe it's
radar's
they're so advanced.
Different, innit?
They're not be 50,000 years ahead of us. We're not counting on that.
Well, they may have never invented radar. Radar may not be on their radar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, though?
They're so advanced, radar's primitive to them, so they don't bother
Could be
building
that.
that redundancy.
Maybe.
But they may not have even invented radar because that's something that one guy invented. They may not have created that exact thing. So it could be something completely alien to them. Again, no pun intended. I don't.
Well, technically they're not. It may not be aliens. They are non-human intelligences. He makes great pains to point that out.
Well, what else does that mean?
Beavers.
Multidimensional,
Could be.
time travellers.
Or it could be evolved beavers.
God.
Non-human mean can't.
No, it can't be time travellers, can it?
What? No, not well. It
Not unless
could be,
you've been-
but
not
they're
unless we as a-
non-human. They'd be alien time travellers.
No, because you could have evolved into something else that isn't human.
Superhuman.
Superhuman.
The Greys.
We evolved from
Greys.
monkeys. He says we can't evolve into something else in 60 million years or whatever.
We probably will. It'll probably be something like the Greys.
Could be.
We're all gonna be bald.
No need for hair. For whatever reason.
Well, no,
No need for penises anymore.
They fell off and
They're on the end of your finger now. You just like inseminate people by
Birth rates are going
sticking your finger in their
down.
eye.
you know they're becoming withered from all the chemicals in the food.
Well,
Same as us.
That's what I mean. That's how the Greys ended up. They just like
Wow.
they've just over the all that poisoning of us and now
What,
has
with
led
the
to our genitals
penises?
falling off.
Well, I'm going
Our
back.
penises are getting smaller.
I'm going more Battlestar Galactica, right? Like, you know, where they'd get all the women and they were impregnating all the women.
Oh, the original movie.
Well, and in the follow-up, in the new series.
They didn't do that in the series.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't. We just
Yeah, they
watched
did.
it.
Yeah, they did.
My dear didn't do that, did they? They weren't
Starbucks,
impregnating.
They were, yeah.
Starbucks,
Really?
the one that discovers it, and
Yeah, they were,
she has
yeah.
a breakdown because of it. She discovers it all because she was
When
taken
she goes back
there.
to the planet to get that arrow of destiny. Or whatever
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
called.
she was taken into
Yeah.
the
She
place.
gets kidnapped and
That was a baby inseminating place.
Right, I was very waiting for that.
But yeah, so maybe that's what we develop into. We don't need genitals anymore because it's all done in a fucking workshop. Do you know what I mean?
And with Greys, which
yeah. Which is handy really because our penises are getting smaller and our sperm's getting worse. Mobility, isn't it?
yeah, it is. But that's why birth rates are dropping.
Going round and round in
It's 'cause of all
circles
the-
like a dog chasing its tail.
All the poisons and plastics and shit in our food and water.
Yep. So, quick rundown of Grush's biggest points. The government's hiding UFOs, bodies of pilots who've been found, and there have been sinister encounters. And as the article goes on to say, why isn't this everywhere?
Especially if people are backing him up. Why isn't it everywhere?
Because mass hysteria.
They've covered it up, haven't they?
It's not on the BBC News or anything like that, is it?
He literally did say there's been a massive organised disinformation programme against the US people for the best part of 80 years. You've got to agree with that.
Yeah.
It's looking more and more like that, isn't it?
It is. It really is. I mean, you don't trust their government anymore.
No. What was them statistics I told you about quite a while ago, Mike, about, you know, people in the US still think, or is it 30% think that the moon landings were faked?
Something like that, yeah.
It's, you know, it's high.
Probably more than that nowadays.
Yeah.
That's a bit ridiculous, though. It's pretty much.
I don't think they were faked, but I do think they were
I think the Russians.
covered up in some way.
I think the Russians would have said something.
Should we get on to the letter?
Brendan Saurus Maguire, MP in Canada, has sent a letter to Minister Anand. Minister Anand. So, it has come to my attention through meetings with American officials that the United States Senate Select Committee on Intelligence and Senate Committee on Armed Services have been undertaking in-camera hearings with government and military subject matter experts on the recovery and exploitation of physical material from unidentified aerial phenomena.
The recovery.
I am concerned that the expected upcoming public announcements will be coordinated between AUKUS, which I don't know what AUKUS stands for, AUKUS. No idea.
I think it means UK, America, New Zealand, Australia, Canada.
Okay.
I think it's like a...
AUKUS, I think it is.
It could damage Canada's credibility with our allies and the Canadian public on the global stage. There is an opportunity to have a prepared communication plan in place by May 2023 to reduce this risk.
So he knew that this shit was going to come out from Grusch. and he
Grusch
wa-
first put that complaint in 2 years ago.
Yeah, and he wants to get ahead of it and say, look, if Canada's involvement is known, it's going to reduce our credibility on the world stage. So we should get out there now in front of it and tell the public.
Yeah.
That's what I get from that.
Or to best know how to deal with the situation and underplay it. As Minister of National Defence, you may not be aware, Defence Research and Development Canada, DRDC, has participated in efforts to analyse UAP, which is publicly traceable to circa 1950.
So they've been at it since 1950.
And that's just Canada.
Yep.
And AUKUS was what you said it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This recovered foreign material was studied with the Five Eyes Foreign Material Programme. Five Eyes is Britain, America, Canada, France, West Germany, I think?
No, same again.
Canada, sorry. France and Canada, I'm sure the French are
I
in
think
it.
the French are in it.
It's the biggest, it's the 5 biggest intelligence agencies in the
Do you
West.
check that up, Pete? Five Eyes.
Which in Canada is sponsored by the Canadian Forces Intelligence Command, aligned with the several intelligence sharing arrangements and treaties. I am writing to recommend you request a classified briefing containing full, sensitive and protected programme information from your officials on the Government of Canada's historical and ongoing efforts on analysing recovered UAP material. Canada's Chief Science Advisor has also launched the Sky Canada project, which is investigating how the Government of Canada manages UAP reports. They are in the process of identifying key Canadian stakeholder institutions, and it is essential the Chief Scientific Advisor be given full access to defence programmes and be briefed on the collaborative scientific research efforts with our allies.
So they're saying that they want full disclosure between all the countries as well.
And Five Eyes is US, the UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand.
Yeah.
The
But
same
Western
as the
Europe is in
AUKUS.
there.
The same as the AUKUS, then.
Basically, yeah.
Five Eyes is
I
a
think
pretty
it
cool
had-
fucking name though, isn't it?
I think it adds New Zealand into it. I don't think AUKUS was in. I
Okay.
don't think New Zealand was included in AUKUS.
Sounds a bit like Five Guys.
It does, but it's
Do you
like...
know what? When I was trying to type it up, the first thing that came up was Five Guys, and as I tried to.
And that was just his porn-up search.
Oh God! Yeah, yes, yeah, that's what it is.
5 penis eyes.
God. I just think it was a gangbang.
Yeah, 5 eyes. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
It is imperative the Government of Canada have a communications plan to respond to these upcoming public revelations that will stem from these American FMPs. Not only are there national security and aviation safety concerns that need to be addressed, but there will also be a larger debate about why there is a lack of transparency and accountability regarding UAP programs and policy.
Now imagine a UFO, UAP, takes down a passenger jet, 600 people all dead.
200 people.
That's if it hasn't happened before.
Sounds
Remember
like
that
a big
one?
jet.
Well, remember there's a couple that have disappeared. You know.
Yeah.
Flight 90,
Yeah.
the Malaysian Airlines
Yeah,
that's
flight.
the
and
one.
it's a mystery, isn't it? One was if we see evidence,
Yeah.
someone films it with a camera, an alien ship blasting a passenger jet,
Yeah. What's going to cause
With its
carnage?
Yeah.
With
You know
its
what, if I was-
laser beams.
my-
and everyone's going to say, you've kept this secret for 80 years, you've endangered the public. It's going to be an outcry, isn't there?
Mike, after 5 hours on a Ryanair flight, mate, I'd welcome it. It's being squeezed in like, oh god, I wish I could blow it at the sky by an alien craft.
We're sardines!
You literally only get a couple more inches on a Ryanair flight than a slave had on the Middle Passage. I also believe there must be parliamentary oversight of efforts by government institutions, and responsible ministers should be fully briefed on this programme, including releasable to the public content that aligns with allied public disclosure. So is that like, we'll disclose a bit, everyone discloses a bit, we all go at the same level? We all go at the same speed in disclosing?
Must be.
Well, I think they need to have a meeting to decide what speed they're going.
A very slow speed, otherwise you wouldn't need whistleblowers.
They're like the ants off of Lord of the Rings, aren't they?
Yeah, if anything's worth doing slowly, anything's worth doing, it's worth doing slowly.
Having a conversation for 35 years.
So that's a very interesting letter, isn't it?
Yeah, like, hey, this guy's going to come out, we need to do something PR-wise.
Yeah.
How do we know this letter's genuine?
I don't think.
It's been released by Jeremy Corbell, who's a noted journalist.
I don't think the MP's come out and said it isn't. From what I've heard, he hasn't denied it.
So and it's Larry Maguire, MP.
For Brandon Soros, is that right?
Well, he's not exactly coming out going, I believe in aliens or anything like that, is he? He's going, look, I think we need to discuss this on a bigger
Something
But
stage.
he's admitting it, isn't he?
Well, yeah.
There's clearly
In
something,
writing.
clearly something going on.
I mean, it could be faked. Like Pete says, we don't know for sure.
Jeremy Corbell's no mug, I don't think he'd release something
You know,
that he
not.
considered that was untrustworthy.
Let's hope it's genuine Jeremy Corbell that has released it.
You know, he is a noted journalist on these matters. It's interesting, you know, Paul Hellier has been saying this, you know who Paul
Yeah.
Hellier was? is, I think he's still alive.
Name.
He was the defence minister for Canada, wasn't he?
Canadian Defence Minister.
In the 80s, I think.
Been saying for years that they've got the craft,
Yeah.
they've got contact and everything.
This backs it up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So aliens.
It's all true. I read
We haven't got that final.
It's
bit of
all
evidence, have we?
true.
But we're so tantalisingly close.
Yeah.
Seems that way. I do think there's been a lot of soft disclosure recently,
Yeah.
and I think this is the tip of the iceberg that they're going to have to start really. Well, there's
With
gonna
the
have to
Senate
be.
committee now
Well,
looking into it.
That video footage, that apparent video footage we saw last week with the alien spacecraft over America,
over Vegas. Aliens in
over
the garden.
Vegas, and then there's the
All that doorbell
photos.
footage, sure.
So if that's genuine, you know what I mean?
That
Come
wasn't
on.
footage, that was a still, wasn't it?
I've seen the footage.
Oh, you have?
I've seen the Ring doorbell footage, yeah. Aliens just looking at the door like that. Just having a look. So one try to figure out what the hell it is. So why isn't this door opening? They usually open where I come from.
Or it could be a psyop just to get money for the Pentagon, and they're going to fake an alien war.
Project Bluebeam, which I think we'll have to cover soon. But if it's not, then it's all true.
Yeah.
And they have been lying to us for 80 years. Roswell, the crash that was in 41 as well, which isn't as known in America. The 33 crash in Italy. The Welsh Roswell, Rendlesham Forest, Kelly Hopkinsville.
Hang on a minute. Let's not get carried away.
It's all true. It's all, every
No, it doesn't
person.
mean everything's true.
It puts a lot more credibility
Yeah,
to it, though,
it does.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You know, how long till they're living down here, Mike?
How long till we're enslaved and working in the gold mines?
Or just exterminated.
I don't. Why? What's the point?
They wanted the resources.
What resources? Our resources are common as muck in the galaxy. You
This
just,
is-
you just get it from a planet where there aren't humans that are going to bother you.
Yeah, with water and trees, all that, you know.
Yeah.
It's all animal life, it's all. We don't
they're
get
gonna-
food.
Food. Are they going to use us for food? Are they eat us or are they going to enslave us?
Well, if it's bad taste scenario, obviously the boys.
The thing is, right, if they're going to annihilate us, we ain't going to know about it.
Of course not.
Because they're not going to come and try and have a war with us, because they
No.
know us.
And if they just wanted to just kill us and keep the animals, they just send in a plague, a virus that just kill us out.
Yeah, human virus.
Yeah.
But I want to fight in a fucking alien
It
war.
won't happen because of that.
Yeah.
Because they know, if they're coming to us, they've done research on us, they know that we're handy little bastards.
They know that we can't get off our planet.
We know that, well...
Just about.
Unless, of course, we have got all this stuff and we're flying craft to Mars and Randy Kramer's telling the truth.
Well, there is that.
Because it does lead down that path.
Yeah.
So if we've got these
Rabbit
craft,
hole.
if we've got these craft,
Yeah.
then we're using them in space to defend the solar system off from what? That's the question, isn't it? You know, are these ones they've got caught, are they sneaking through? Is it our own stuff and we're testing it against ourselves?
And is it because of social media, etc., that is the only reason we're getting this information now? Because of that extra freedom of speech and getting your story out there now? Whereas 20, 30 years ago, although these people apparently still existed, we didn't hear about it because there was no... They had no platform. Whereas now
No
they've
mobile
got that...
phones, no, but you
Well,
know.
you had
this-
Bob Lazar in the late 80s that come out and
Bob Lazar,
said
yeah.
Area 51.
As you say, they're powered by element 115. Didn't
Right.
exist on Earth at the time.
Barney and Betty, wasn't it?
Barney and Betty Hill. A few years later, guess what? Element 115's a thing. Isn't that convenient?
Somebody just, or you know, just all of a sudden found it, did they?
Found it probably on because it's the fuel for these craft, and like, oh, look at that, we can replicate that now. It's not a naturally occurring element, it's something that we can fuse stuff together with. It's all true. I think he's telling the truth, man.
It's possible. It's looking more likely, isn't
We'll
it?
see, won't we?
Yeah.
Only time's going to tell on this one, I think.
I mean, he could be a plant, but he's also, if it's not true and he's lying, he's completely ruining his own reputation. And the reputation of all the people who've come out to support him.
That's true.
If it was just him,
But he could be in that, and them other people that have backed him up in that clandestine group
they could be Majestic 12 for all we know.
that are trying to invent that fake alien invasion.
Brings about the New World Order. Alex Jones was right. He was right.
Well, how could they fake an alien invasion?
Advanced holograms.
Quite easy. Just
drones, all sorts.
Fake some footage. Passenger jet, shoot it down yourself and saying aliens did it.
Nuke a city and claim the aliens did it.
It's easily done.
Use one of these weapons that they've got that they've procured off the aliens over the years.
Yeah.
We'd have to see crafts like in like
that's what I mean. It could be humans
Independence
piloting
Day.
the crafts that have been back engineered.
We ain't gonna believe it until we fucking see little green men.
Or little grey men.
Little grey men,
You know what I mean though? Like,
Dead or alive, yeah. If you've got the dead pilots.
Speaking, that's going to be the only answer to all of us is until we see real little aliens or tall aliens or fucking blob people, whatever, it doesn't matter what they look like, until we see that's genuine footage, the BBC going, not just the BBC, but you
Every news
all
agency
fucking on it going, this is happening, this is them.
Well, it's Independence Day, isn't it?
Yeah, until we see that,
signs.
We don't
Also,
know.
well, I was thinking that the ships literally turn up over a major city.
Yeah.
See, I think signs is a lot more prevalent for now anyway, because the way these little bits of footage are coming out with the door cameras and things like that over in Las Vegas, that feels a lot signs-ish to me. There's those couple of videos of one sneaking behind a fucking fence and there's one in the background like peeking around the corner like just a bit at the same time, and that just screams out signs to me.
Yeah.
So you don't know, who knows?
Watch this space, I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, watch this space, and I'll see you in the trenches for the alien war. When I got we get our exosuits from like day after tomorrow.
It'll be flat jackets and knives.
Not day after tomorrow. What's that bloody film called? Edge of Tomorrow. And we get those sweet ass exosuits.
Nice.
Fucked up facts.
Fucked up facts.
Yeah.
Theme tune, please.
Facts, fucked up facts.
Oi, hey, facts leak. Oi.
It's like Gaza. Does Gaza just come in? That's not a Euro 96 shirt. That's a World Cup 98 shirt. Peter Edin England shirt.
Nah, it's a bit older, a bit newer than that. I think it's
2000? 2002 Euro. Was it the World Cup or the Euros? Either way.
World Cup in Korea, wasn't it?
Oh, World Cup in Korea. How did we do in that one?
Quarter-finals, lost to Brazil.
That's right. Brought on Phil Neville, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you steer Walcott?
No, took him there, didn't use him. Yeah, terrible Sven. What are you playing at? Stick to meeting dodgy sheiks, that's what I say.
Yeah, 2003, 2005.
Oh,
this
right.
was the England
Okay.
top for that period.
I actually thought that was 98. It must have been a similar design.
This is the reversible one.
Ah, yes.
So it's got the other badge. And
So that was Euro 2004, so that was when Rooney got sent off against Portugal.
Yeah.
It was the reversible top, and I always liked it for that. If you spilt something there, it didn't matter. You could literally just turn it over and reverse it. It's like, you can't see the spill as bad.
2 shirts for 1.
Yeah.
It's like every tournament, isn't it? It's like you know when your heart was broken. 2002, quarterfinals against Brazil. 2004, Portugal.
Argentina was 98. Oh, no.
That was 98.
We beat Argentina in one
Portugal
of
won
them.
it.
Portugal
won it. I was on the submarine that year.
Anyway, fuck the facts.
Alright, Mike, here's some facts.
The director, Sergio Leone, said that at the time of filming A Fistful of Dollars, Clint Eastwood had only 2 expressions. With hat and with no hat.
Yeah, sounds bad.
Not known for his expressions in his early days, was he, Clint?
I've always found him a bit shit.
Oh, no.
Oh, don't say it from my dad.
It wouldn't, that's exactly what I was looking at.
Unforgiven, he's
That's
not
not-
wooden. Unforgiven's his best. And Gran Torino.
Gran Torino, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
I loved that film.
Unforgiven's probably his best Western, in my opinion. That is brilliant.
Don't think I've ever sat through an entire Clint Eastwood Western, to be honest.
Have you not watched A Fistful of Dollars and
Don't
A
think
Few
so.
Dollars More? And
Good, Bad and the Ugly.
Good, Bad and the
Send
Ugly.
little bits of it.
Oh, it's a brilliant
I've
trilogy.
never watched a whole film.
The Man with No Name.
No.
Wooden performance.
Maybe
What's
I
certainly
should-
on the Outlaw,
No,
Jesse
I'm
Wales.
saying what she was
Josie
trying to
Wales.
describe. I think he's a good actor. I like him. I think it's quite funny because it's very true. Like, it's with hat, without a hat.
Probably, apparently he's the only only cowboy or certainly actor
Didn't
who
flinch.
doesn't close his eyes when he shoots. Because you can't see his eyes very much probably. He's got squinty and he...
Yeah.
Get off your horse and drink your milk. Ting!
I like a good western.
No, I don't know. I've seen many of his films, but I've never watched a whole film.
Oh,
I've
you should
only
watch
ever
it, mate.
caught like the last half hour or
That
things
trilogy
like
is
but-
amazing.
Yeah, it is good. And Unforgiven, which is made in the 90s. You got Morgan Freeman and Gene Hackman in that
Yeah.
movie.
And I bet they're all on probably one of the Netflix, YouTube. They're on one of them, aren't they?
Oh, I'm gonna fucking pick Unforgiven as a movie pick one day.
Do it, man. I'll happily watch something like that.
Next
Right.
fact.
Another Clint.
46% of American men are either somewhat or very confident they could safely land a passenger plane in an emergency situation.
Well, I don't want some fucking fat American tourist landing my passenger plane in an emergency situation. Thank you very much.
I'm confident.
See, I know roughly what to do from
See.
good flight simulators, but I wouldn't say I was confident I could land one. But if nobody else was prepared to give it a go, I would.
Define landing safely or landing in a ball of flame.
just
It's still a
landing.
landing. It's just a crash landing.
Well, landing but staying alive.
They didn't have the Krypton factor over there, did
They
they? That
didn't.
is exactly why the British would just go, nah, fuck that, we watch the Krypton factor.
Yeah, we saw how many people fuck that up.
Yeah. And they had a little bit of training, didn't they?
Yeah. Apparently, though, these things aren't easy to manoeuvre. You know, if the pilot's got to do it manually, you know, just report it. They are sweating their balls off. It's a heavy old fucking control. You know, they're wrestling with the controls. It's a turbulent landing. That's another thing. You got to factor in your weather. And if it's bright and sunny and there's no crosswind, all right, maybe, yeah. How many was it? 30 to 46%. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But if there's them high-speed crosswinds, like
Oh yeah,
I ain't landing that. No fucker's landing that.
You put in foul weather and shit like that. Yeah, it's not ideal, is it?
No.
Perfect conditions.
Have you seen that?
Other than the pilot's had a heart attack.
You've seen the footage of what's it called? We had them really bad winds in the UK last year,
Oh,
and the
the
planes are
pilots.
coming in, and they're like coming in. They all of a sudden they're getting shunted off to the side, and they're like, "Oh shit!" and they go readjust.
I've experienced it myself coming in from Heathrow to Manchester when I'd have been about 10 when we were coming home from Saudi the one time. Heavy winds. They were a bit and ahhing whether or not the flight was going to get delayed, and it didn't. And the pilot took off. 40 minutes later, we landed in Manchester. As we were landing, you know, when you start to see the runway, where you sat kind of thing, you just about to see the runway. All of a sudden, we've really got a close-up of the runway, because the plane listed, and it went like that. It just proper
Pete's tilting his hand.
rolled like almost like a 90-degree kind of roll, whereas the tip, it gone towards the floor, the tip of the wing. So we all like shit ourselves, but he landed it, did it, and everyone clapped. And that's not a very British thing to do.
But you swore to do it.
British Airlines, if you're just in England, going from England to England, we don't clap our pilots. We don't.
I've never
it's
clapped
a very
a pilot.
American thing. It
I've
really
never been
is.
on any plane where anyone's clapped a pilot.
It's a very American thing. But in them days, certainly didn't happen, but everyone fucking clapped. Us being us, my mum and dad being typical, like, just let everyone else go. We don't need to rush. Like, we'll just get fucking pushed and shoved. So we'll just wait. We'd waited a bit. Everyone else kind of rushes off, and we're just getting off. And because we were getting off pretty much last, the pilot by this time was all chatting to the stewardesses and things like that. And we overheard him saying, as we were walking through, it's about 5 metres that was, off hitting the floor. And we were just like that. I remember my dad went up to him and he said, "Mate, fair play," shook his hand. My dad being ex-RAF and that, he builds planes. He's got a real understanding and love of planes. So yeah, and he just went, he shook the pilot's hand and he was like, "Fair play." But to hear that, yeah. Oh, I shit you not, that happened. That fucking scary.
I bet that pilot had his fucking glasses on in the bar later on, though, didn't he? Yeah, this plane just fucking toured on me 5 metres off the ground. That wing was. I pulled it round, landed it, touched it down like a beaut. I bet he got his dick sucked that night.
Yeah. Oh, by all of the stewardesses. They're all
the ones on board to start
they were all
with.
swooning over him, I tell you.
He was top good in that shit, wasn't he?
Definitely.
Next fact. Birds that don't practice singing every day go out of tune.
They're lazy
I
birds.
can believe that.
What, so all the birds chirp together? I used to think they all chirped independently anyway.
I can
Well,
believe
yeah, but
that.
what if they aren't singing every day? A few days off, they're out of tune.
I don't know the difference whether I'm going to start criticising the local birds.
I remember my pet cockatiel used to sing along with the tune to Coronation Street.
Big Coronation Street fan, was he?
My mum was, obviously.
No, the cockatiel.
Obviously, clearly, you loved the tune. He went fucking wild. But he used to do like the Laurel and Hardy tune, things like that. And we were teaching him to say nasty things to my granddad, jokingly like. And I shit you not, after that he'd swear a lot, but that was about it. And then every now and then you would get whistling out of him, and I can vouch for that fact though, because he used to do it out of tune. It used to sound hilarious. And so I can agree with that.
Okay, we'll end on this one. Every February for the last 300 years, the town of San Juan de Vega, Mexico, hosts the Festival of Exploding Hammers.
Wow.
Okay.
I had an experience with... I'm joking.
This is where men attach firecrackers to sledgehammers and hit metal sheets.
And they've done that for how long?
300 years.
Jesus.
I want to go there.
How metal's that though?
It's metal. It was 300 years ago. They were using black powder.
So what do they do? Have you got
They
like...
attach firecrackers to sledgehammers and hit metal sheets.
Just so they just blow up from the spark created.
Festival of Exploding Hammers.
So
And everyone just gets pissed and watches.
Yep.
Yeah, so they're not lit at all. They're just using the spark to create the ignition. That's pretty cool.
However, shrapnel wounds are common.
I'd have thought so, yeah.
Not surprising.
I'd imagine there's been some deaths.
Or blindings.
Blindings.
So over those 300 years,
Yeah.
I can always guarantee you there's been some deaths.
Yeah. Because you have to have like a black powder thing. If you're on 300 years back, there's no detonator fuse. There's no firing pin to set it off, is there? It's a fuse. And he's got little black powder charges on his hammer. You know that hammer's flying off and cracking someone in the face.
I'd go to that one over there, one where they release the bulls through the streets.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And the cheese rolling down the hill.
Oh, I do the cheese rolling. I'm eating the cheese after though.
You chase down those hills after a fucking roll of cheese.
I love
They went
cheese.
to that the other week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd go and watch it, but I would not take part.
I love cheese. I'll save that cheese.
If nobody's watched that, by the way, listening to us across the world, Cornwall,
Gloucester, I think.
Gloucester. It's like a Gloucester cheese
rolling.
The cheese roll. They roll it down a hill and people chase it. And
All you have to do is look
bones.
it up on Google, YouTube. You will, if you just put in those elements, cheese rolling down a hill, people chasing
A
it.
hell of a hill as well. It's so steep.
Watch it; it's hilarious.
It is. Amazed that people don't die.
No, people have done.
Have they?
Yeah.
I thought they got injured, but I didn't know anyone had
People
died.
have broken necks and things like that, but I'm pretty sure over the years people have died.
No, give me the Festival of Exploding Hammers any day.
Yeah. Although I will save the cheese. I just wait at the bottom. It's the easiest way to do it.
I'm catching it.
They're going to roll that cheese, right? I'll just fucking move over here. There we go. Thank you very much. Cheese wheel for me. And on that note, thanks for listening. I've been Ben. Don't drink the flavour aid. Don't join a cult. And it's all real. All of it.
Maybe. I've been Mike. Thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you.
And I've been Claire. Keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
And I've been Pete. Have a nice week. Take care. Bye.